we're still inside our studio. We just finished with chunk 5, looking at the function setSeed and sample. After that, just below that, there's a question here. What is the probability of each individual in the population to be sampled? You should think about that and come up with your own answer. And you should be able to explain what this function setC does. So what we're going to do now, we go to this heading. It says take the sample that you will use for the rest of the assignment. So like I said, that whole explanation about sampling and setSeed was so that we can give each one of you a unique sample that we took from that big population set. So that's what we're going to do next. So I already did that for you. I set the seed, I gave each one of you a unique seed, and I ran those functions separately and sampled from the population set for you. So basically, what we're going to do now is you are just going to take your unique data set in the following way in this code chunk. So you've seen this function before or something like it. Read RDS or read CSV, it said before maybe, and that means we're going to read one of the files that were one of the files that you had to download. So the name of the file that should be in the folder where you put all your downloaded files along with this assignment file is called mysamplerows.rds. We're telling R to read that file and to call the object that it creates when reading it mysamplerows. So you should run that code, and then we've used this function before, names. So in this case I just want to see the names of this object, and if we look at it you'll see that it is your name should appear somewhere there. There may be more people on this list than is actually in the class at the moment, but don't worry about that. So the point of printing out these names is because your sample is called by your name. So what you have to do in this next line of code is we're doing this thing we did before there in chunk 5. We're taking the big population set. We're using the square brackets because we want to tell R which rows and columns of that data set we want to choose, and we want to create an object called mySample. So again, for the columns after the comma we're leaving it blank, so R knows we want to take all the columns of the set, but we only want some of the rows, and this object mySampleRows is going to say to R which rows you specifically want to take. So you'll see there's a $sign here followed by nothing, so you have to fill in your name after that $sign, and that's why I printed out the names so that you can see, because it must look exactly like this. So if your name is Candace, then the easiest thing is to just copy the part, not the quotation marks, only the part inside the quotation marks. Or if you just start typing can, then it's going to suggest it to you, and then you just press tab and it continues. It auto-completes it for you. So if your name is Candace, then that's what you do. You run it like that, and then if you type my sample, after that you'll see that you now have a data set. It has these number of columns and it has 400 rows. It's showing you there 400 rows, 19 columns. It's showing you only the first 10. And so this is now your unique data set. So Candace has a unique data set that is different from Caleb and so on. The next line is RM. RM is for remove. So we're just removing this object so that it doesn't confuse us again later. So we're removing it, and it is now not available in R anymore. And then this function, as you can see, this one said read RDS. This one now says write RDS. So that's just a function that writes an object out. It's like this is how you export an object into a file that you save on your computer. So you're just writing the object mySample, this one that we just looked at, into a file called mysample.rds. And this file will automatically save inside the same folder where your project is.